government is to set tougher targets on fixing thousands of buildings found to have been fitted with flammable cladding in the wake of the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017. Ministers say the new remediation acceleration plan will ensure all high-rise blocks are made safe by the end of this Parliament in 2029. Phil Hendry reports.
Although the last government committed £5 billion to tackling cladding, just a third of tower blocks have been fixed since Grenfell. About 500,000 people still live in dangerously clad mid- and high-rise flats. Under this plan, stronger enforcement action will be taken against freeholders who own buildings but don't get on with the job. In addition, more than half of the 50 or so developers who've signed a government pledge last year to fix the defective buildings they built have now agreed in principle to speed up their work. Critics, including the End Our Cladding Scandal campaign, say the pace of remediation is already glacially slow, so doubling the rate will make little difference. They say the proposed sanctions lack detail and the authorities tasked with enforcement aren't adequately resourced.
24 minutes to 7 is the time. High-rise buildings with potentially dangerous cladding will be made safe by the end of this Parliament in 2029. That is the promise being made today by the government. They're also under pressure over small boat crossings. Hendry Zeffener, our chief political correspondent, is on the line. Should we start with the cladding, Henry? What is the promise? Is it all buildings affected or only some of them?
Morning, Justin. It's more than 7 years since the Grenfell Tower fire killed 72 people, and the stats on buildings with potentially dangerous cladding are still very stark. Just a third of tower blocks have been fixed since then, potentially thousands more yet to be identified, about 500,000 people still living in dangerously clad mid and high-rise flats. The government's promise here is of a time frame for the first time. So they are talking about by the end of 2029, every building that's part of a government-funded scheme to remediate the cladding, which is 11 metres or taller, will either have been fixed or have a completion date to be fixed. And if they're not, then there'll be big fines for the freeholders. And then for buildings of 18 metres and over, they say they will be fixed by 2029, and there would be severe penalties for freeholders who fail to act. And the reason this is especially pertinent today is that the government, or Parliament rather, is going to be debating the findings of the Grenfell inquiry, which described decades of failure by local government, national government, regulators and the construction industry.